This is gonna be my reaction for lowkey's song Terrorist Part 2 with Crazy Haze and Maya Khalifa. Let's go.
Just a little. Tell them that I'm not. They're calling me a terrorist. We know who the terror is. Tell them that I'm not. They're calling me a terrorist. Yeah, it's time we settle this. Tell them that I'm not. I'm all about love and peace. Why you wanna trouble me? Tell them that I'm not. My intentions are clear to see.
First of all, allow my client Kareem Dennison simplify his messages and dissect the evidence that place them on the terror list. Spread the lies of television. My client is standing accused of encouraging terrorism. He's promoting peace, far from violent encouragement. I believe it's unjust that this court has summoned him. How can one man rapping lead to terrorist actions? This misunderstanding merits a retraction. Accused of calling for attacks on military facilities. You can't equate violence with criticism politically. Where's the freedom of speech? Is just another young musician who is seeking a dream. My client is accused of inciting racial tension. He's half Arab, half English, did I fail to mention? The media rendered, his reputation ruined. Think about how many youngsters he has influenced to quit a life of crime and do the opposite. Most of the man's tracks are completely devoid of politics.
Yeah, here is when I say about the media ruining his reputation. It's like this is all the time when you sing, you do rap about political stuff. The mass media will always try to silence you or this kind of thing, because of if you talk bad about like a country, talk bad about a country, and you really sorry, what I mean is like this: if you are a rapper and you rap with about different stuff, you are more very different from many other rappers in that way that you use different lyrics, that you talk about stuff something very sensitive for many of, like you don't want to hear, you don't want to invite somebody in a like mass news station like BBC News or like very high up news channel on TV. You don't want somebody gonna rap about negative about like America or England or France, or a big country. You don't want somebody are gonna tell the truth. You don't, for you want musicians, but you don't want musicians like what did I say? You don't want people that can make a riot. Like what I mean with this is stupid now. What I mean with everything is like, when you listen to like 50 Cent, I don't say they are okay. I don't like them. I don't like the music. I think they're a bit silly. But I understand that if other people like 50 Cent or Tupac or Eminem or like with many, but all of these rappers are acceptable to listen to radio. You can listen to Tupac to radio. You can listen to Eminem radio. There's no problem. Like young children listen to Eminem and old people too listen to Eminem. But if you cannot play this kind of music like Low-Key plays, like Terrorist and other songs like Obama Nation, Lord of War, Hands on Your Gun, this kind of song will never ever be acceptable on a mainstream news channel, mainstream radio station. Will never be acceptable. You can never play this music, because what he say, not because he's a very 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 good rapper, but because what he rap about. That is the reason why many people like in the news want to like what's the name? God damn it. That you don't the carpet. You want to throw the carpet over it. You don't want him to like like for he is like one thing. He is independent musician. Is one thing, and he's extremely good musician. There's the other thing. And if you and when you are like this, that makes this. He is very good that he shows YouTube for or other thing like he can rap because he are extremely good rapper, but he never gonna be the same famous. He okay, I can honestly say he's almost better than all of the other rappers I say before. All of them, he's a better rapper than all of them together. But because what he's talk about, that is the reason. And his friend like Crazy Hayes, they are extremely good rappers. All of them, like Crazy Hayes, Logic, Akala, Mortal Technique. Well, Mortal Technique may be more acceptable, but they are both of them extremely good rappers. But if there's a problem when you can be one of the best rapper in the world, but if you choose to talk about stuff that is very very sensitive, especially what America do in other countries, you 98% you will absolutely you will not get any reward, like any Grammys because what you speak about. They control the music business. They control what you. So you are like a slave. If you're working for a music company, if you're not independent, you don't own yourself your company. But if you the owner of a company, you are a slave. For you never ever be allowed to speak about these kind of things if you are belong to a big musician studio and this kind of thing. So yeah, let's continue with the song.
Evidence is unseen, the verdict is a done deal. How can you compare a song to invading a country? My client isn't hungry for the blood of the people.
Okay, here is one thing more I want to talk about is in the song. Like how can a song how can you compare a song to invading a country? And that is also one thing, like when we speak about like maybe now I go a bit out of topic from this thing, but like when you speak about violence and it's one thing to speak against the violence and one thing, so many times like when musicians say something negative about a state, the state always try to silence them. But the most violence of them are the states. For the state, like example, is when it's shooting, like a school shooting or like a shooting in general, that make it like they always try to blame something else, like music or video game. They always try to blame something else. They don't try to see the big picture. They don't try to see really what the real problem is in the state with the weapon law. So that is a problem. Like, of course, people gonna shoot people on the street if you allow guns, like no common people, to buy military weapons in weapon stores in America. Like it's obvious that's gonna happen. So. But over the time, they always try to blame. Oh, this guy he listened to heavy metal. Oh, this guy listened to political rap, or this guy play Grand Theft Auto, or something like that. They always try to blame it on something else without looking deep into it and really understand that the weapon companies, the weapon stores, are the problem. It's not the musicians, not the video games. And so that's what I mean. How can you compare? You cannot compare a song with invading a country. That is, you can you can music is like power. Like you can bring people back from deep depression, like suicidal depression, to feel happy again with music. Like music is very, very strong. That is a good point. They try to see lowkey as a terrorist because he uses music against the American government, like the American Pentagon, the government. He don't use his music against the American people. He used against the old government, like or president or corrupt things in the world, like in UK, America, France, any like corrupt country. They use economical terrorism and force people to sell very cheap and buy very expensive, and that lowkey exposed them. With his music, he don't need to have a rocket launcher or a Tomahawk war helicopter. His weapon is music. He speaks the truth, and it's very dangerous if you speak the truth. Especially if you're a really good speaker, like he is. That makes the very, very frustrated with him, for he really speaks so good about it, and everything he say is 100% the truth, and this kind of thing. So yeah, and so yeah, let's continue with song.
Since when is making a rap song ever been illegal? No murder is done. The thing that drives this person is love. I rest my case to the jury and the merciful judge.
They're calling me a terrorist. We know who the terror is. Tell them that I'm not. They're calling me a terrorist. It's time to settle this. Tell them that I'm not. I'm all about love and peace. Why you wanna trouble me? Tell them that I'm not. My intentions are clear to see.
Sir, can you confirm you're the artist that's known as lowkey? Are you aware the state has been building this case is so free? You claim that you're all about love and you promote peace. I'm here to prove that your hot speeches lead to cold deeds. Your lyrics are a virus infecting all the youths. You say whatever it takes to get a mention on the news. You're an insult to the people and offend the soldiers too.
And here too, the crazy haze. The sound is almost like they are in a courtroom, and they play that they are in a courtroom. And Crazy Haze speaks to lowkey, and he say, "Your music, your lyrics are a virus to the youth," and that is very interesting thing. Because that is what the government or the news want to tell. For when, like one example, when he do music, especially against Israel, against Israel's government, not the people, the government, or in Israel, that he speaks about it, and that is many people speak sometimes against Israel, but that especially with lowkey, when he speak about it, he bring it with the deep. He bring this deep. He go deep with it, and that people don't want to hear. Many people don't want to be really taking deep on the conscience. For what he speaks about, but the immigrants, one song is like the song Ahmed, or he's but Grandfall, he really speaks about it. He really brings it up, and that is many people are their conscience. He always, if somebody is have done something wrong, they always gonna be catch of this music. The music always gonna catch them. Because you can escape maybe from the law, but you can never ever escape from a music. A music can always talk about you, if somebody knows really really good how to talk about you, if you have done something really really horrific, and they are a good musician, like they can really really ruin you, with not they. I don't think lowkey don't want to ruin anybody, but his music really, you really, I say, his music is like this. He speaks about very directly and very exactly what happened in this part and what happened in other part, and that is the good thing with his music and this song. But they try to reflect his words to make him like they try to make him as a bad person, but he is not a bad person. He's a good person. Like every time you speak the truth, people always want to silence you because they don't want to be reminded of what bad things they do and this kind of things. Yeah, let's continue.
Objection, Your Honor.
Objection overruled.
Do you denounce the monarchy and hope for a republic?
Monarchy is inequality, systemic injustice. While you strangle Afghanistan and tangle with Taliban, our taxes have to pay for David Cameron's cameraman.
How can you compare spreading anarchy to spreading democracy?
Like you compare resistance to extension of colonies.
Did you really refer to the US as an abomination?
No, I posed the question in reference to its domination. I scrutinize governments, you scrutinize songs.
Did you compare Predator Jones to suicide?
Okay, here. Do you say America is an abomination? No. Every time he say something about America gets very frustrated and very very angry, and they try to find something like he say a horrible thing about them. But the only thing he do that he tell the truth. That is the only thing he do. But every time he says something, like no matter who you are, you don't need to be a famous rapper. You can be just a common person, and if you say something some are the truth, some people all the time gonna be angry because they don't want to hear the truth, and that is a very dangerous thing. If you are more acceptable in a group if you don't speak the truth too much. But if you speak the truth all the time, it's almost like a bad thing if you speak the truth. And that is what he do. He is very very good at that, and that makes many countries and politicians and this kind of thing very frustrated or angry on him because he speaks what bad things they do and this kind of thing. And before he speak about monarchy, monarchy, of course, monarchy is not equal. Monarchy is a very bad thing because like in the old time and some countries, that's like in Saudi families, the royal family in Saudi, like this one thing, they are like dictators and kings. They get all the power, and the common people get no power. Of course, that is bad. And yeah, let's continue.
Yes, and I question where such brutalized youth would rise from. It's true, I choose to write songs, but you can write wrongs.
But what if the questions equate to the spreading of hate? Is it true you labeled Israel a terrorist state?
Yeah. He also say here, is it true that you label Israel with a terrorist state? And that is, I would say like this. The Israel government is absolutely do terrorist attacks and terrorist force against the civilian Palestinians. That is absolutely true. For that, like this, a terrorist is not nothing but if you are a Muslim or if you are a Christian, if you're a Jew, if you're a Hindu, a Buddhist, or Sikh, or something else. It's nothing but religion. So that we can throw out the window right away. Like a terrorist, everybody can be a terrorist. Like if you force people with violence, you are a terrorist. Like American armies are sometimes are terrorists. They are terrorists because they use like predator drones to force people to give them the oil, or like in all the time, like in Congo with Leopold and his armies was a terrorist because they forced people to get robbed. Like, like this, all the time, all the ways when you use weapons to force people to give you something, that is a terrorist act. So the Hiroshima terrorist act, the Israeli stone gangs terrorist act. So every time you use violence, or you can, like, every time you force people against their own will, you are a terrorist. So of course, yeah, Israel's military state they do terrorist attacks. That is true. Let's continue.
Yes, cause it's based on the threat to erase an indigenous population you could never replace.
They're calling me a terrorist. We know who the terror is. Tell them that I'm not. They're calling me a terrorist. Yeah, it's time we settle this. Tell them that I'm not. I'm all about love and peace. Why you wanna trouble me? Tell them that I'm not. My intentions are clear to see.
Please allow me to state the most relevant of facts. I'm charged with Section 1 of '06's Terrorism Act. It is alleged the music I'm publishing for exhibition all amounts to the encouragement of terrorism. My face was placed upon the news as a wanted person cause it caused controversy when they saw my songs emerging. If I was commercial, would I have to ride all these hurdles? Raided my home, take my phone, put some spies in my circle. Not on it, no comment. I will never change my position, not in jail, but they gave me these stale bail conditions. And this is the part where the plot just gets sinister. They banned me from the city of London and Westminster. I do this for the rebels that do this without the medals. For Smiley Culture, Jodie McIntyre and Alfie Meadows. Before you throw it at me, have a look at your backwards book definition of terrorism. Columbus and Captain Cook, I can't.
And here, when he speak about Captain Cook and Columbus, and then it's also very good thing to remember that Columbus was a horrible person, for he forced people in slavery, like the Tainos, and he used like everything from ultra violence, rape, forced labor, like in coal mines, genocide. Like these things about Columbus, like the horrible things he have done, and he have ordered to done with his armies and himself, that you never gonna hear about in the schools. They're never gonna talk about the bad side of Columbus. And like all the explorers, like Columbus, Captain Cook, like the guys who was get killed in Hawaii, that all of them are terrorists. They are terrorists in some shape or form. They are terrorists because they use violence to force people to give what they want. Like, if it don't matter if you have a pistol or a whip or a stone knife or something else, so long you force a population to do what they want, do what he wants. Every time you use extreme violence, you are a terrorist. So, but people forgot that. People always think, when you think about a terrorist, they think about a Muslim, and that is totally wrong. It has nothing to do with religion. Terrorist is nothing about religion. Terrorist is aggressive behavior with weapons. That is a terrorist. And use violence or threaten with violence are a terrorist. You don't need to have weapons. As long as you threaten somebody with like I will blow up your house with a hellfire or a rocket launcher, that is a terrorist thing to do. So of course, yeah, Columbus was a terrorist in a shape or form, because he used genocide against native people. So and that finns a very very good famous Catholic, is a priest, is a very famous priest, and he really described every horrible thing the soldier in Columbus have done against the Taínos, like, and they do like extremely horrible things, and I don't know how much I can. We can say it like this, like, is unbelievable how cruel they are, like unbelievable how cruel a human can be, and that may be gonna give you some picture how cruel they was in Columbus army and his explosion. But you're never gonna hear about this kind of thing in school. Like the first time I heard about that with the Taínos is about like Vinnie Past, when he speak about it, and that. So that is very interesting. Like and the same with like Napoleon. Like you don't know. I never know before I was in Caribbean at that in Caribbean there was also France colony. They speak Creole, and that also very interesting. I never know that at Napoleon was for slavery. Like and he also was a horrible person. Every colonizing person, like Alexander the Great, Napoleon, Julius Caesar with his genocide against the Gauls, and Alexander's his destruction of the building in Persia or Iran. That is like, so that is very interesting, and of course. So it's interesting that they never speak about these kind of things in schools. They always bring up the exploration things about Columbus, but they never speaks about his horrific crimes, and because he was the guy's son. Fine, the place later called America. And this kind of thing, but people already lived there long before him, and they have their own culture, their own custom, and all this kind of thing. So the only thing he does was suffering and destruction he bring with him, and this kind of thing. Yeah, let's continue.
Life is getting deep, our lives are very cheap. When one person dies in police custody every week, they're editing my tracks, cause I'm telling them the facts. You're more likely to die like that than from a terrorist attack. When you try to fight the war, they will say you defy the law. Can't quiet me, this is R.I.P. for Brian Hall. We know the truth no matter what you tell them on the television. IMF, World Bank, economic terrorism.
We have to go back.
Position, not in jail, but they gave me these stale bail conditions. And this is the part where the plot just gets sinister. They banned me from the city of London and Westminster. I do this for the rebels that do this without the medals. For Smiley Culture, Jodie McIntyre and Alfie Meadows. Before you throw it at me, have a look at your backwards book definition of terrorism. Columbus and Captain Cook, I can't lie, it's getting deep. Our lives are very cheap. When one person dies in police custody every week, they're editing my tracks, cause I'm telling them the facts. You're more likely to die like that than from a terror.
And here, like it, you are more likely to die of a police brutality and a terrorist attack in your own country. If you live in America or in UK or Sweden or France, it's more easy. It's more likely you're gonna be killed of a policeman or a terrorist. For it is so much more police violence. If you're gonna really be honest now, how many people do you think are killed every day in European countries of a terrorist comparable to a police or police violence or this kind of thing? Is absolutely more people die in America or UK or in Sweden of police. Like if you that is very important thing. If you are a poor person and you are an immigrant, you live in a poor neighborhood in UK or Sweden like this, you are more likely to get beat up of a police and gonna be killed of a terrorist. So it's more people gonna die of police brutality in America, especially America now, especially if you're a Latino or Afro-American, it's more commonly you're gonna be killed by police because they don't like you or they think you have something in your pocket and they shoot. So it's more people gonna be killed of police and they are killed of terrorists. So there's actually exactly. I don't know. I don't have any paper to say how much different, how much more percent. But I can promise you that more people die in America of police brutalities if you are a black or Latino and a terrorist. That is absolutely the truth. Absolutely the truth. But you like, if somebody disagreed with this what I say in this music about this song, it's totally okay. It's absolutely, YouTube is for to be agreed and disagreed with you. So long you can leave me a comment and tell me what you think about this song from Lowkey and Crazy Hayes and Mali Khalifa, and about the song Terrorist Part 2. And really tell me what you think the song is about and this kind of thing. Yeah, let's finish it.
It's attack when you try to fight the war. They will say you defy the law. Can't quiet me, this is R.I.P. for Brian Hall. We know the truth no matter what you tell them on the television. IMF, World Bank, economic terrorism. I refuse to produce chart nonsense. Not a servant to the Zionist lobby like Mark Thompson. The BBC.
And here actually he say he's not he's not a slave to the Zionist lobby, and like the Zionists, like that is the thing. All the time when you speak against Israeli state, like Israel state, you have to remember this. It's very important now. It's one thing to be Jew. It's other thing to belong to a state. It's not the problem with Israel. The problem is not the problem with the people. The problem how they treat the other people, the Palestinians. That is the problem. The problem is not if you are a Jew. It's not that. There's nothing to do with that. The only thing we have a problem with is if that you shoot children with rubber guns. You make people suffer. That is the problem we have with Israel, the Israeli state and the president. We of course, I don't think Lowkey have nothing against Israel people, but he have against, like many people, against the government Israel, because they use terrorist attack against civilians in Palestine. They bomb they shoot their hospitals and these kind of things. And let's continue.
Want me making music to impress crooks or doing shows on military bases like Tim Westwood. Murdoch might have the news, but me, I have the tunes. Your cameras move onto celebrities to distract the youth. Remember, this fact is true. When you point your finger at me, there is 3 fingers pointing back at you.
And that was my reaction for Lowkey and Crazy Hayes and Mali Khalifa, Terrorist Part 2.